Morning, everybody. Moving along with my player interviews, I have senior Madison Larosa from Shore Regional. Madison, thank you for joining me this morning.
Thank you for having me.
First to start off, how do you think your season's going?
I think it's going pretty well. I mean, we had a little bump in the road getting shut down, but we started off pretty good, had some good competition, and it's going pretty well.
Did you, it's tough, I talked about it with coaches, if you were going to be shut down, it was probably the teams that got shut down before the season started, probably a little bit advantage. Was it tough? You guys were, midway through your season and then shut down and then, last week and a half, you're back at it. Was it tough to get back into it?
Yeah, I think this was the worst spot to be shut down in
Mhm.
because it was definitely hard coming back. And then now we only have a week left. So it's kind of a bummer, but we're doing the best we can, taking it a day at a time. And yeah.
Yeah. One advantage is at least you are going to be able to compete in the postseason where, unfortunately some other teams are, had to withdraw. Talking about COVID, how did you find the adjustment last year? One day you're in school and the next day you're, virtual learning.
It was definitely weird at first. At first, all my friends were like, "Oh, sweet, a vacation from school. We don't have to go in. It's gonna be great." And now, a year later, we're like, "Wow, like look at that. It's just insane."
Yeah. How did Shore Regional, at the end of last year when it got shut down, were you like, did you have to be like on Zoom and Google Meeting at certain times, or were you just like given assignments and it had to be completed by, certain time?
It was kind of like a learning experience for like the teachers and
Yeah.
us. So like at times we'd have meets, or it would be due at the end of like say like 2:30 or something.
Okay. Yeah, to me, I just find it weird. Like every school was different. Every school district was different. There was no like unisons with everything. Talking about basketball, how old were you when you started playing basketball?
I was about 7, I'd say.
Okay. Yeah, usually the average age 6, 7 for basketball. Did you play any other sports when you were younger?
Oh yeah, I think I played like all the sport. I played softball, lacrosse. I tried them all. I even tried field hockey, but after like 2 weeks, my back started hurting. So I was like, yeah, I can't do that.
Yeah, field hockey, you gotta be bent over, leaning over
Yes.
a lot. So what made you, fall in love with basketball, where that was the sport you kind of stuck with?
I love the aggression and the competitiveness. I just like the physicality of it. I mean, I played softball. We're more like a softball baseball family,
Yeah.
and I was catcher, but like even that was kind of boring. So I was like, I need more like contact and
You definitely see that on the court because you're one of the toughest players I've seen out there. It's in the Sure Conference because you don't back down from anybody. So I like that answer. I like that answer. Do you have any siblings?
yeah, I have an older brother.
And he played baseball, I'm guessing.
Baseball, yeah.
Okay, okay. Were you two very competitive with each other?
Oh yeah, we go at it. We argue all the time. It's like you cheated. No, you cheated, and it's back and forth.
That's funny. What has your parents, what have they meant to you in your development and being there for you?
My mom is definitely like my number one supporter, number one fan. If the game's like 2 hours away, she'll be there. She's there to drive me wherever. I'm like a young senior, so like I just turned 17
Okay.
in September, so she had to drive me like to every basketball thing, and it's just like awesome to have her support.
Yeah, you said you're a young senior, I find, I was a very young senior as well, but all this reclassifying, I don't understand.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
staying back and
juniors are 17 early on in their junior year, and I don't know. And then I hear kids reclassifying. I was like, why would you want to play with younger kids? I don't know.
yeah.
When I was younger, you wanted to play with the older kids. um, when you were younger, who was a role model?
Definitely my mom, and then also my grandma I look up to a lot. She's like amazing. She builds boats, she
Oh
builds
wow,
kayaks. She's like, yeah, she's very hands-on. Like anything you like ask her to do, she'll build, do whatever you need. It's awesome.
that's great. Do you go kayaking with her a lot?
Yeah, every time I go down there, she lives in Bayville, so I
Okay,
go down and we go kayaking every morning.
that's pretty cool. Talking about, youth basketball, do you remember who your first coach was and team was?
I played a bunch of like rec basketball, and then I'd say my first real coach was probably Diane Schmeltz, and we was on like a travel team that was called Knights.
Okay. Where was that based out of?
I was based out of like our old middle school, so it was like Oceanport, Seabright, Monmouth
Okay.
Beach.
Okay. What did you learn from her?
She definitely helped me just like develop my game, and also we had a trainer there, Jerry Mosley, who's in a program Shoot for Success, and he basically made my shot, helped me like learn the game and everything.
Um, Going into high school, what were some goals you set for yourself for basketball? You're incoming freshman. What are some of the goals you set for yourself?
Definitely was just to play hard and definitely calm my temper. I would say I was a little bit of a head case, so I wanted to come in, mature myself, grow as a player, and just work on all my skills.
That's good. Your freshman year, how did it feel? You coming in, you're playing varsity as a freshman, which is a great accomplishment in itself. And you had a really big impact. You were a big part of the team. How did it feel, being a freshman and having such an impact on the team?
It was definitely awesome. I don't really remember that much from freshman year, but I do vividly remember the game at the Long Branch tournament. I think it was against Lacey,
Hmm.
and we went into like double overtime, and it was just an awesome game. I know I played pretty well.
Um, as a freshman, it could be a little bit intimidating. Any upperclassmen that you were able to go to or to help you, if you had questions?
I definitely had a bunch of them. Emily Guo, Jill Olson, Jackie Shapiro, Brianna Jackson. They all helped me with like say plays or something, whatever I needed. It was just like a comfortable, great environment, and they were great team leaders.
Okay. Move into your sophomore year. Did you have any goals that you set for yourself for your sophomore year?
Definitely to improve like my ball handling. I had like no left hand going into high school, so I definitely want to improve being able to dribble to the left, my shot, my defense, basically just keep improving.
Um, I it's great that you recognize no left hand and that's something want to improve. A lot of kids sometimes they're afraid to ask their coaches what do I need to work on, but you recognizing what you need to work on and working on that. Do you think because to me, you're a very aggressive player on offense, going to the hoop and, you have a really good jump shot. Do you think that helped you your sophomore year? Because, you led your team in scoring your sophomore year.
It definitely was a big part of it, and also my competitiveness, my heart, my hustle, that made me like I wasn't really afraid of anyone, so it helped me just like just drive to the hoop, shoot, not be scared, and just go for it.
To me, players make the biggest jump from their sophomore and junior year. I know, you touched on it. Your sophomore year, you wanted to improve on your dribbling. What did you want to improve on from your sophomore to your junior year?
Probably more. I was working on mainly defense
Okay.
and my shot, just getting
Mhm.
more accurate. And
Um, Couple games I want to talk about. Your junior year. I got to see your team a couple times. Of course, I probably missed one of the best games was the St. Rose game, even though you guys didn't pull it out. Can you just talk that game? Playing at home at St. Rose was preseason they were number one, but they're always top of the state and top of the shore all season. How was it taking them to the limit in the home gym?
I think we shocked them. A lot of like teams, I think, underestimate us.
Mhm.
And Riley was playing insane that game. We were just keeping up with them, competitive, feeding off of their energy, and it was just a great game. I mean, I'm bummed we couldn't come out with the upset, but it still was just awesome to come that close.
Yeah, I watched that game on the network and it was an impressive game. I was getting texts from St. Rose parent about about Riley because he you know he didn't know any of the players at Shore Regional, and he's like, they got this one girl not missing from three today.
She's going off.
So, and that has to be a good shot in the arm for your team to leading up to state playoffs and stuff like that. Um, Real quick, touchy subject with Shore Regional. How did it feel? You thinking you got your girls qualified for the Shore Conference tournament, and then find out on a stupid technicality that you're not going to be able to play. How did that make you feel?
I was definitely pretty angry. I mean, it didn't really make sense. We had a 500 record, so I was like, why can't we qualify? Like, it's not right. I feel like it was unfair to all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that some of the teams, like, they saw what we could do. We were close with Ramson, close with St. Rose. I mean, maybe they were a little scared because we were going to get them this time.
I love that attitude. Yeah, and there was a lot of support for your team on social media and stuff, and I was very vocal about it, especially when I found out certain boys' team did the same thing the year before and they were allowed in, but it is a great accomplishment knowing that in your mind, you guys did qualify, and it was I think what was it, the first time in like 10 years, I think, or something like that. So it's a great accomplishment, and it tells you how far, and you being part of the program, the program has come in the past 10 years. So it's something to be proud of. Let's talk about states. The first game I think was Governor Livingston. You had a pretty monster game. Can you talk about that game a little bit?
Yeah, that game was awesome. We had a pretty good fan section for that game too, and I just knew that I wanted to get my team through. I wanted to win, and we just all played hard, got aggressive, got into it, and my shots were falling, and I was just excited.
The next game was the Ramson game, right? After
Yeah.
that, okay. Talk that game, because to me that was what, atmosphere-wise, it was at Ramson, but I think your student section came to the game, and it to me it was hilarious, because they were louder than the Ramson student section. How did it feel playing? First of all, it was a great game. You guys trailed by double digits, and you came back. You fell a little short, but great crowd behind you. How did it feel playing in a game like that?
That game was epic. I mean, our student section, I think my whole grade was there. They were just getting into it. We were feeding off the crowd. We came back. Yeah, I think we were down by maybe 14, I think.
Yes.
And we came back, got into it. I was really bummed that we came up short. Really wanted to be won.
Your team, your defense definitely, especially in the fourth quarter, stepped up drastically, and gave them fits, and a little rivalry there, Rumson, Shore, and it was just, I'm so glad I went to that game, just being in the stands and watching such a great game, and just love seeing the crowd get into it like that. It was great, because I know some of the Ramson fans weren't happy with the Shore kids in the crowd, but to me they didn't chant anything inappropriate. That's it was funny stuff. Back when I was in high school, trust me, there was a lot worse things said from the student section. But it was just great to see that kind of atmosphere, especially at a girls' game, because I know not all the time they come out to support the girls. It's usually the boys' games, but it was great to be up at a game like that. Moving to this year, did you think the season was going to happen with COVID going on and everything?
I wasn't sure. I was praying that it would happen and they would figure out something. But at first I was like, I don't know, like this could, like my senior year could just be over like that. I mean, but I knew they would try and get something going.
Yeah. Every player I ask that question, every player, it's like, it's 50-50 on the answers, not knowing, with it getting pushed back and stuff. But, it's good that they did get something done, even though, it's abbreviated schedule, but, at least you got to play something for your senior year, because, that was the main thing, giving the seniors a good send off and stuff like that. We talked about being shut down already, for 2 weeks. So, what did it mean? I mean, you got 1,000 points. What was it, the first or second game of the season?
First game, yeah.
First game. Now that's a pretty good, accomplishment, which basically virtually means you basically got it in 3 years, if you got your first game your senior year. What did it mean being 1,000-point scorer at Shore? Because it's been a little bit, right? Since
10
they
years, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Okay. So that's a great accomplishment. What did it mean to be, 1,000+ point scorer?
It was definitely an amazing accomplishment, and I couldn't have done it without my teammates. And I was just so like proud of myself because like all my hard work paid off. It was just pretty awesome, and it came like full circle because the girl who passed me at Cassie DeSantis, we grew up playing together, so it was kind of like a full circle moment.
That's great. It just means a little bit more that way. That's great. And that's something you might remember forever. That's good. Something I like to ask, the seniors, what is something you're hoping that you're able to pass down to the underclassmen, being the senior leader on the team?
I would definitely say, especially nowadays, don't take anything for granted. Just keep fighting, work hard, and yeah.
Talk about your relationship with Coach Will, and how has he helped you through your 4 years there in development?
I think he's definitely taught me a lot. I think I've grown because of him, not only to be a great player, but a great person too. Both my coaches, Coach B too, they both made me the player I am basically. They helped me, giving me extra time, believing in me. They taught me to be a leader and set like a good example for the underclassmen. I've grown so much in like my skills and basically everything because of the time they put in with me.
Um, I know, Coach B, he talks very highly, especially with your work ethic, and you're always wanting to learn. He also says you have a crazy workout routine. So can you talk about your workout routine, like in the off season?
So I wake up at 5 and then I'll run and then I'll eat a little breakfast and then I'll go lift for about an hour. And then after that, I'll go into another cardio session, which is like jump roping. And then I do footwork with the ladder. And then at night, I'll go for like a late night run.
How many days a week do you do this?
6 days a week. And then Sunday, I'll do like an active rest day.
He didn't go into detail, but he was right.
Yeah, I just love to stay in shape.
That's great though. Especially somebody young. I talk to players, coaches. With the whole COVID thing, everyone saw all the players were working on their skills, and a lot of coaches, we were questioning, how are the players going to come in, physical shape, and one player told me after the first tryout / practice that she was out of shape, like she was sucking wind, and that answered my question right there, because she's a top player, and because everyone was always working on their physical shape, on their their skills, their shooting, their dribbling, and all that, but they weren't, they didn't have that those group workouts where you're doing the cardio, the strength, and it's great that even that's a focus of yours, even outside working on your skills. So congrats, and keep it up.
Yeah, basketball is like a whole different type of conditioning.
Yeah.
Like I went out and bought like a parachute thing to like run with, and I went to this big field and was just like doing sprints, because like you can do long distance, but like you more need like sprints back and
Yeah,
forth.
for basketball. Yeah, and that's good, and it shows you thinking outside the box. How how can you get yourself a little bit better, and that's good. I wouldn't be able to do all that conditioning. Sorry about that. You up for some rapid fire questions?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite color?
Blue.
Blue. Okay. That seems to be the popular answer.
Yeah.
Favorite TV show?
Probably Survivor
Uh-huh.
or any like cop firefighter related shows,
Okay.
like Chicago Med, Chicago PD, all those.
There's a good one. It only was on for one season. If you could find it, it's not on any streaming service right now. No, Chicago Code. It was on about 8, 9 years ago. It was only one season, but it was phenomenal.
Can you watch
Um,
it anywhere?
what?
Can you watch it
It's
still?
not on any streaming service right now. It was on Netflix a couple years ago, but yeah, it's about eight. It only lasted one season. I don't know how because it was a really good show. How about favorite movie?
Oh, that's a hard one. I would say any scary movie.
Okay.
I'm into scary.
How about favorite song, or if you don't have a favorite song, genre or band or group?
I'm a big country girl, so I'd say any song by Chris Lane, Take Back Home Girl. He's like the guy I listen to a lot.
Okay. What's your favorite number?
21.
21. Okay. Has that always been your number?
Actually, 3 has always been my number, but I don't know. I just like clicked with 21.
Okay. Have you been 21 all 4 years at Shore?
Yeah.
Okay. How about your favorite subject?
Subject, science.
Okay. This is going to be a tough question. Besides playing basketball and working out all the time, what do you do in your free time?
Oh, besides working out, I don't have much free time. I mean, hanging out with friends when I have time.
Yeah, I don't like going through your workout schedule. I don't know how you have
Yeah.
any time. We'll talk about your future a little bit. What are some of the things you're looking at? With college, is you looking like it doesn't have to be sports related, just like size, location, that kind of stuff.
I'm definitely thinking of staying close home, a decent size, good academics, just a good environment.
Do you know what you want to study?
Exercise science.
Okay. Okay. What do you want to do after college?
I want to go into the state police.
Okay. All right. Um, last question, then I'll let you go. What advice would you give your younger self?
Oh. I would just tell my younger self, just keep doing me, work hard. It's going to pay off in the end. And if you really want something, put your mind to it and focus on that.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent advice. Is your team done with the regular season, or do you have one?
We have one more game tomorrow.
Okay. Who do you play?
Middletown North.
Okay. Okay. Should be a decent game. All right. I'm going to let you go. I wish your team luck in the playoffs, in the postseason pod. That's a tough pod. I was doing my brackets last night, and I couldn't even pick winners for round one. Every matchup's a good matchup.
Yeah,
So
I'm excited.
You have Jackson Liberty first. That's going to be a good matchup. More.
Yeah.
If you could slow more down, that's going to be the key. But I wish you and the team luck, and good luck with your future.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me, Madison.
Thank you for having me. Bye.